Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode in the series, which is talking about self-management, but as a whole, and how we can better manage our own mental well-being. And in this episode today, we're going to be talking about values and beliefs. Before I go on to values and beliefs, I want to quickly look back at what we discussed last week, which was strengths and weaknesses. And remember that when you're identifying strengths and weaknesses, there are two key words, two key things at the center of it all, which is honesty and acceptance. Okay, so you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to accept what your strengths and weaknesses are effectively. So it's sometimes it's easier to identify our weaknesses, especially if you're someone who is struggling with self-belief and self-confidence. And so if you ask someone about their weaknesses, they'll list them all down, and no dramas whatsoever. And then you ask them what the strengths are, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not really strong at this. I'm not really," because they haven't got the confidence to be able to go, "Yeah, I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at the other." And it works the other way around as well. So some people think that they are strong at everything, and so they'll list down a whole load of strengths. But then when it comes to weaknesses, they're like, "No, I'm not weak at anything." I don't know if it's the terminology for some people. I'm sure it will be for many men, but it's not so much weaknesses. It's just things that you're not as strong as. If you want to look at it that way, different way of looking at it, or different way of framing it. So it's just identifying those things that you are really good at and the things that you aren't as good at, and maybe you can either work on, or you've got no interest, passion, or anything about increasing your knowledge and strength within such area. Perfect example, maths. I'm crap at maths. Okay, I've accepted that a long time ago. I'm by no means an accountant by any stretch of the imagination. And so, for throughout my time in businesses and when I've run the two previous businesses, I had an accountant, Andrew, and AMT Accounting. Good plug. And he looked after everything. So I had no interest in learning about maths. I had no interest of expanding my knowledge and turning it into something that I was really quite good at. And so I just accepted that I'm no good at maths, and I'm happy with that. Okay. That for me personally is an easy one to accept. But there are other ones. There's others, values maybe, or areas in your life, things that I wish I was better at, but I'm not. And I know that when I'm looking at managing my physical health more, so I manage chronic pain on a daily basis, and I want to be doing so much more than what I do, but I can't do that anymore. And I've had to accept the fact that I can't do that anymore. So what was a strength, organizational skills. I used to be really good at organizational skills. They're kind of, they're quite a weak area for me. So I've had to accept that, which is difficult to accept. And so I've had to look at different areas of my life now. I go, yeah, okay, so I'm not so good at that. And so I speak to our volunteers, and we identify people who can do it for me, but there are areas that I am strong at and the things that I can do. And so I concentrate on those areas. So it's really, when you're identifying your strengths and weaknesses, it's really important that you are honest with yourself and you accept the facts, whatever they may be. Okay. It doesn't make you a lesser person, whatever it is. Okay. Once you've identified things you're not so good at, you then got a decision. Do you learn more about it? Do you turn it into a strength? Or do you find a way to accept that that's just how it is? in a way, you're turning that into a strength anyway, because you've identified the areas that you're not so good at. That is a strength, because many people go through lives working really hard and working doubly as hard in the areas they're not so good at, whereas other people who've already identified what their weaknesses are, they've delegated the tasks out to other people, and so they're a lot more productive, and can get a lot more done a lot more quicker, compared to the other person who's refusing to accept that he's weak, or she is weak in certain areas, and they aren't delegating it off to anyone else. So that's basically what Strengths and Weaknesses was about last week. So, but onto values and beliefs. So values and beliefs, we're really starting to get to the core of who you are as an individual. Values have been a massive part of my life, and I believe they've kept me alive in many ways, because I look at values and the 14 years that I was in the army, and I lived by the army's set of values. I adopted them, I took them on, I lived by them, I fought by them, I breathed by them, and they were sea drills, which is courage, discipline, respect for others, integrity, loyalty, and selfless commitment. Now, I've taken those values on, and I've still, to this day, lived them as much as I can in my personal life. And I also implement them within, I've implemented them within both businesses, and now within RCIC, Race and Minds, or Talk Mental Health, as you know. And we live by those values. I've adopted certain other values as well along the way, because I've grown and developed as a person since I left the army, and I'll continue to grow and develop every day, every week, every month, every year, because that's what living is, a great part of that. So values are really, at the core of who you are as a person. And when that's connected to purpose, meaning, and identity, which I'll cover in a couple of episodes' time, those two are right at the very heart of who you are. Beliefs, when we're looking at beliefs, it's important that you know what your belief systems are. What do you know is right and wrong? How do you see the world? What's your view? What's your perception, and how do you see things? And it's really important you've got that from a grounding point of view, because so many people have their own views, and they see life in a certain way, which is brilliant. That's great. And we should find ways to respect other people's values and beliefs, whether we agree with them or not. But especially when you go into business, and especially when you're working for somebody as well from a different point of view, and people are always trying to tempt you to believe what they believe is right. So if you don't have a grounding of what you believe in life, you're going to find yourself being pushed and pulled a lot, because you're going to go, oh yeah, no, I think what they're saying is right. I like what their view of the world is, and I'm going to adopt that. And then the next minute, there's someone else saying something that's very that you believe in. And you say, oh no, that's right. No, I'm going to go with that. And no, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. Identify what your belief system is. What do you really believe in? And this is right across the field, from personally, professionally, within relationships, within the family, within workplace culture, just generally within society, what's right and wrong. When you look at Black Lives Matter, I'm not getting into that, but just as an example, the strong belief systems that they have, and anyone who marches and campaigns for a certain thing because they believe that's the right thing to do. That's their belief system, and they are gonna, they're gonna do everything they can because they believe that's the right thing to do. Now, no one's right or wrong in this world, and you could take that really far. And when you do neuro-linguistic programming training, NLP, I'm an NLP practitioner, but when you do that, you really look at criminals. Are they right and wrong? Who says stealing is wrong? Now, straight away, you're all going, well, of course it's bloody wrong. You shouldn't steal from other people. But where did that come from? Where did that belief system come from? It's a belief that it's wrong to steal. But where did it come from? Who started that? I only say that as an example. I'm not saying that stealing is... I'm getting myself into trouble here, and I believe stealing is wrong. Okay, I believe that we should respect one another, that we should be supportive and kind, and to be there for one another, and not be so bloody nasty to one another, really. And respect is lacking massively in 2020 in the modern society, and values seem to have taken more and more of a back seat. That's my belief. So you can see now, hopefully, where values and beliefs really start building up the kind of person you are, because that then creates a platform for you to take it forward and say what, fight for what you think is right, fight for what you believe in. How should society be? What should the government be doing? I'm campaigning at the moment for the government to be providing more mental health support. Now, they've just started to announce a mental health winter support package of £500 million of going to the NHS. But they're announcing that now in coming up to December, and yet they've done nothing throughout the entire epidemic of COVID for mental health support. Nothing. Not even spoken about it. Hardly anyone's spoken about it. And when they do utter the words mental health, it's come as a byproduct of talking about COVID and the impact on society. Not specifically, let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about how we can support the mental health of the UK, of the general public, of GPs and people working public health and key workers, secondary key workers. How can we better support the mental health of these individuals? How can we work within the communities so that they don't require so much professional support, and they're already on this slippery road of struggling. Let's stop them from getting to that point at all. So then it wouldn't cost the government £500 million to help people. But I'm starting to get into another thing. But can you see how passionate I get when we're talking about the mental health of people and helping people and doing the right thing? That is my belief. And that makes who I am as a person. So then when you start looking at relationships, friendships, falling in love, it's not just the attraction that you're falling in love with or you're building a relationship, a friendship with. It's also who that individual is, what their values are, and what they believe, what they fight for. If you think about it, those of you who've got partners or you think you're friends, why are they your friends? If you think about it and write down why these people are your friends or why you're in love with so-and-so or whatever, their values mixed with your values and both belief systems will be kind of at the heart of it. Because, when we are drawn to other people who have similar values and beliefs as we do. It's just a fact. That's how it works with us human beings, and that's how you can then use that, because then you then kind of identify what someone's values and beliefs are. Then you start building up rapport. That builds up trust. That builds up loyalty, and that builds up a really strong foundation for whatever kind of relationship. But it all comes from an individual's values and beliefs. Okay. Yes, it is also then very strongly bolted onto their purpose, meaning, and identity, because that's their driver for them as an individual. So values and beliefs, write down what your values are, okay, and what your beliefs are. Do you know what your personal values are? When you're in when you're in business, typically you'll have personal values, and then you'll have business values, or I hope you've got business values, or what your business ethos is, basically. So identify what they are, but identify what your values are, and what do you believe in? What is your beliefs? How do you see the world? And then you can take that stage further as well, and then go, where have these beliefs and values come from? Why do I have the values and beliefs that I have? Are they actually mine, or have I just adopted them like I have the army? And do I still believe in them? This is all about identifying who you are as an individual, and which makes you an individual. Try and identify what your values and beliefs are, because then you're really starting to build a solid foundation of who you are as an individual, where you sit in society, and what is important to you moving forward, which will then connect with your purpose, meaning, and identity, which is the following episode. So I hope that was of help for you. As ever, if you've got any questions, ping them my way, nick@talkmentalhealth.org.uk. I'm still growing my Gringo Tash for Movember, because obviously we're still celebrating Movember. Happy International Men's Day, belated maybe for some people, which was Thursday the 19th of November. If you didn't know it, put it in your diary for next year. And aside from that, take care of those around you, but please, more importantly, take care of yourselves. Bye for now.